While we're waiting, just wanted to mention the dev vote is ongoing for which development we're going to fund. I'll go ahead and put a link to the voting form, and we've so far good turnout. 53 people have voted so far. Anyway, if you haven't voted yet, consider voting, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. And Rhonda's here.
Yay.
Good morning, Rhonda.
Good. Well, it's a little chaotic here, but I'm here. They're fixing the motor for the air conditioner, and the surmise from my staff is they sprayed an entire can of WD-40 into it, and so it smells so bad right now. We're all trying to scramble. Fortunately, it's just the first floor and of course, if they're working on the motor for the air conditioning, that means the air conditioning isn't working. It is, what is it? Just when you think, I don't know, it's probably like in the upper 80s or lower 90s right now. So that's great too. So yeah, everybody's like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. And go. I have a meeting. So that's fun. There's Holly. She's joining us from the 3rd floor of the library. So how's everyone doing?
It smells much better on the 3rd floor.
I can only imagine. Yeah, I have the door to my office shut, so it hasn't leaked in yet, but I'm sure it will invade my office soon. So actually I can start to smell it already. How is everyone doing? Those of you that ventured to the conference, you made it back all right. That's great.
Yeah, good trip back. No delays. Yay.
Yay. That's always a good thing. Yes, yes, yes. It was good to see everybody again, and that's great.
Your presentation was excellent.
Oh, well, thank you. There's changes coming for acquisitions, so we just kind of want to get people used to the idea. I'm seeing a few names here that I don't recognize, and we haven't gone around and introduced ourselves in a few months. So I'm thinking maybe we do that again, just to make sure, because part of being part of the Koha community is making connections with other library users and, you know, putting faces with names and being able to contact each other. And, you know, if you find a library that's similar to yours, I know I've picked Barbara Johnson's brain a number of times to get information, you know, how did you guys do this and that kind of thing. So that's always a benefit of being in the Koha community. So kind of want to create our little community of acquisitions here. So I will start. My name is Rhonda Kuiper. I work at the Round Rock Public Library that now smells really bad on the 1st floor. And I'm technical services and collection development and outreach manager. And what else should we say? We've been on Koha since 2016, April of 2016. I can just call out people on the order of my screen. That might be the simplest thing. Does that work? So Charlie, you're first.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm a technical services coordinator over at SLO County Libraries, which is in California. So if you're in the neighborhood, let me know. I'm always looking for meetings. I really like the meeting that they had. I forget who did it. It was about creating your own regional meeting. I really like that
That
presentation.
was Wally.
Oh, Wally, it was you. Okay, see, I loved your presentation.
Yes, thanks. And Wally's next.
Thank you for the shout out, Charlie. That was nice. My name is Wally DesChamps. I'm at Prosper Community Library in Prosper, Texas, which is in the DFW area. And I find we have a regional area that we meet once a quarter, as well as here with the SIGs and such. I am currently serving as treasurer for koha-US, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Thanks, Wally. Chip, you're next.
Hello, I'm Chip Halvorsen, and I'm ILS System Administrator for Westlake Porter Library, which is near Cleveland, Ohio.
Monique, we just have.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Monique Matta. I'm also with SLO County Libraries, just like Charlie. We're in the same building. She's on the first floor. I'm on the third. Coming to you from beautiful downtown San Luis Obispo. But Rhonda, you should definitely include that the unique smell in your library marketing. You should say,
Yeah.
come for the unique sensory experience.
Yes.
And our library doesn't always smell the best either, but it's okay so far today. So
yeah.
and I also do the when I'm not being silly, I do the ordering for adult collections.
Okay. Thanks, Monique. Malachi.
Hi, Malachi Boling. I'm at Brooklyn Law School in Brooklyn, New York, and I work in acquisitions here.
Okay. Yeah. Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jen McNichol. This is my first time here. I was at the KOHA conference and heard about the SIG. We go live with KOHA November 17th. I work at the Somerset County Library System, and I'm the acquisitions supervisor for tech services. So I'm just here to learn as much as I can.
Okay. Well, we will be happy to help and ask lots of questions. So, Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara Johnson. I'm at Bedford Public Library in the DFW Metroplex as well, and kind of close to Wally, not a little bit. I'm library manager, which is basically technical services and systems administration. We've been on KOHA since 2016, and we'll be going live with Aspen on September 24th. Which is why I missed the KOHA conference.
Yeah, we missed you at the KOHA conference. Yeah. Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Agudo. This is my first time here in this webinar, and I just started 3 weeks ago at the Hudson Regional Library in Pasco County, Florida. And I am the accounting clerk, so I'll be doing the KOHA budgets and, of course, helping out with check-ins and cataloging and processing and all that.
Okay, great. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you.
Maribel.
Hi, Maribel Carrillo from Monterey County Free Libraries down in California. This is probably my 4th meeting here with all of you. I also do tech support, acquisitions, cataloging, submit orders for our collection development team. So yeah, that's pretty much all I do.
All right. Thanks, Maribel. India.
Hello, everyone. My name's India. I'm with the Utah State Library. We're migrating in 2 weeks. I'm actually our cataloger. I'm here for our acquisition expert who's currently busy getting everything ready for our migration. And I'm just here to take notes for her, especially with the new acquisition model coming. So glad to be here.
All right. Welcome, India. Jason.
I'm Jason Raub. I'm the Seek and Find coordinator at the Southeast Kansas Library System. We're a consortium of 53 libraries in Southeast Kansas, and we've been using KOHA since 2008. but we don't use acquisitions outside of purchase suggestions. I was excited to hear some of the stuff coming in 2.0 though, because I think that it's going to make it like more viable for my little libraries to do like budget tracking and stuff. So
Okay, cool.
good stuff coming.
Yeah. All right. I always forget. Hilliard, is it?
It's Cecil Hilliard. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Washoe County Library, Nevada. And we've been in Koha since, it looks like 2010. And I do acquisition stuff and cataloging.
Okay, great. Angela.
I am at the Family Search Library. It's a genealogy library in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. I am actually also a system admin, but our acquisitions person is on maternity leave as of a couple weeks ago. So I'm here for her.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, Angela. Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex Carver from the Ramapo Catskill Library System in New York. We have 46 member libraries. Only 3 of them are on acquisitions though, so it's a very small slice of what I do. So I like to pop in here once in a while just to stay informed.
Okay.
We've been on Koha since 2024.
Okay. Welcome, Alex. Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm from the Monterey Public Library in California, and I'm the acquisitions person for the library, and I've been using Koha since 2020, but I know we've had it for some years before that, and just enjoy coming to the groups and meeting people virtually and discussing how we can make Koha better.
Great. Thanks, Christy. Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly McDougall. I am currently in exile on the 3rd floor of our library, and I'm kind of enjoying it because I actually see sunshine, which is unusual for me. I am the acquisitions assistant here at the Round Rock Public Library, so I'm one of Rhonda's henchmen, I guess is probably the most appropriate word. I do the ordering and receiving and budgets and bill paying and all that good stuff.
Thanks, Holly. Juliet.
Hi, I'm Juliet Heltibridle. I'm from Rapid City Public Library in South Dakota. I'm part of the Black Hills Library Consortium, and we've been on Koha for coming up on 10 years here. And we use acquisitions. One of our other libraries in the consortium does, but then the rest do not. And we might use it in a little bit different way than some of you bigger consortiums and libraries do.
All right. Thanks, Juliet. I'm gonna murder this.
Sorry, I didn't put my full name. Yeah, my name is Gabriela Montantes. I am with the Carrollton Public Library here in the DFW area. We're not that far away from Bedford and I think, is it Prosper, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually just got on to Koha in April. So we're very new to the game. We're on both Koha and Aspen, and very interesting because we were on Sierra beforehand, but this is my first meeting here. So I'm excited to kind of learn from you guys, see what feedback you have. And yeah, that's
okay. Great. Thanks for joining us. And David.
I'm also from Carrollton, cataloging and acquisitions, and I report to Gabby.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. Thank you. Okay. So we've got a number 4 or 5. Can't remember now. People that are new to Koha or new to the SIG. And then we've got people that have been on for a while. So this is a great kind of mix that we've got. So what we usually do is if there's some announcements related to koha-US in general, we'll make those. I think Chip already talked about voting for the, what is it, the development. You want to share that again, Chip? Because other people came in late.
Oh, yeah. Well, each year we have a vote on which development koha-US will fund for the year. And the voting is open through the end of the month. And you should have received an email about it. And if you didn't, I'll put my email address in the comments if you want to shoot me an email, and I'll send you the information. And that's it. There was the current list doesn't have an option for acquisitions. It ended up, we had one on the short list, but it ended up being funded. I think it was ability to add, change, or transfer between funds. And apparently that's going to be a reality. So, all right. So anyway, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Chip. And we just a couple weeks ago completed the 11th KOHA conference. And I think in Providence, Rhode Island. I think it was a wonderful success and we had a great time. And I think the videos of the presentations will eventually appear on YouTube or
Yeah, so if you want to rewatch it, the links on the schedule on the website are still live, so you can watch the raw recording, but Christopher will be working on chopping those up into more digestible sections once he gets some time.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jason. And then just wonderful experience in Providence, but now we're looking forward to next year, and we need libraries to submit proposals for the next site. So the way the process works is libraries will submit proposals for the conference to be held at their location. There's a form that you fill out that will get submitted in October, I think. Or that will get emailed to everybody, and then you can submit it. And then the community, the members of koha-US will then vote on the site. So last year we had proposals from Providence, Fargo, and Chip, was it was Chip's area, but Cleveland, is that fair to say Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland area, Cuyahoga County.
Okay, Cuyahoga County. Okay. So then the members of koha-US voted and we selected Providence, and that's how we ended up in Providence. So if you want us to come to your library, keep your eyes open for the proposal submission form to come out probably in the next month or so. And you can fill that out, and then we'll vote on where we want to go next year. So that's a great opportunity for everybody. Does anybody else have anything that they want to share with the group? Those were the things that I had. If not, okay. So the next thing, if you're a Bywater customer and not an early adopter, you will probably get upgraded to 2505 next week. I think everything I've seen, it looks like next week. Ours is supposed to be Wednesday, I think. I noticed that the demonstration site is going to be Thursday for the koha-US demonstration site. Next, we will often, if you've got a question that you want to ask to the group, that's usually the next thing that we do. If anybody have a question, anybody, have a bug that they would like to highlight, maybe get other people to comment on it, to get some traction on your bug, anything like that, that people have. Just a minute, I've been ignoring the chat. Okay. All right, that's good.
I do have one thing before we move on, actually.
Okay.
So this is really great because it's connected to kind of connected to us, but we've actually asked Bywater to look into a bug that might need to be a enhancement. So I've actually put in a crowdsourcing link in the chat, and this bug is mainly about if you have if you're an expired account or if you're a restricted patron type, you cannot submit suggested title purchases. Now I'm trying to figure out if this is Aspen related or not. I believe it is Aspen related, so please ignore if it is, if it has nothing to do with your setup. But yeah, I thought I just bring this to every meeting that I go to, since this is something that we're very interested in, and then we're gonna hopefully put a little bit of money into so we can get this resolved.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great one. OPAC.
I also have something that we had found with I think this is to do with our EBSCO integration. So I don't know if anybody else is using like an EBSCO discovery layer. So if not, again, might be irrelevant. But we're having issues with things that we purchased as like individual ebooks. We suppress the record and then they're all showing up as lost. So if anybody else is having any sort of problems like that, would be really interested to hear about that from you. But I don't know if anybody else is using research. So.
Okay. So that they're showing up lost in the discovery layer?
Yeah, the discovery layer is showing every like ebook that we've individually purchased as lost. So,
nice.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Stinky.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have EDS or anything, but yeah, if anybody does have EDS and wants to.
Malachi, are you using Aspen?
No, we don't use Aspen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Then, if there's anything else that anybody wants to mention.
I will ask a very general question. After the conference, let me background. We're small enough that we manually do acquisitions. So we don't fully use the acquisitions module or anything like that. After the conference, I would love to potentially move in that direction to where we have more integration with our vendors and put budgets into the system. So my question to the group who use it, how intensive was it to set it all up? When is the best time to set all this up? Like at the beginning of a fiscal, starting to set it up prior to fiscal changeovers and then flipping the switch? Or is it something that you can gradually move into? How would I approach this to my director to say, let's let Koha do the work for us. We just got to get there. And want to know what my sales pitch to them and what my answers regarding how.
Way back when we first came on to Koha, it was in November and we wanted to use acquisitions. And I know I wasn't really involved with the process, but we just set up a really small starting budget with what we had to spend for the rest of the year in there and added our vendors and went from then. And then our year starts in January. So then we added our budgets for the next year. So since you basically, once you close out a budget, then you go to the next one, it's pretty easy to move on from something. I'm sure it takes a while for the person who sets up all the budgets for our library to get everything dialed in with the numbers and everything. I feel like there's something in a bug somewhere to allow people to start spending out of a budget before it's actually active, because that's something we kind of, we're buying things before we're actually spending the money, because it, you know, in November, December, and a lot of times we just tell people, try not to order anything all December, because then it's not so confusing. But yeah, I don't think it's really labor intensive, but we do have one person who's dedicated to the collections, and she gets it all set up and everybody assigned. We also have quite a few selectors in our library, and she's made it so that they just see their budgets that they're spending out of, which is something you can do. I can't remember how to do it. But yeah, I think it's worth giving it a shot. I don't think you can really mess things too much up by setting up a budget and playing with it, but I would like to start moving towards more of like integrating things and or using it differently. And I'm not sure, now that we have 10 years of established this is how we do it, that's where I'm a little stuck and lost in it.
Yeah, I was just concerned. Yeah, not concerned. I was interested too in how you integrated the baskets and all that stuff with Ingram or whoever and Amazon. Did you just do it in Koha, and it just kind of sends up and magically appears and works with them, or do we have to go to each of the vendors and establish that link? Or and I think y'all are always talking about what's the acronym? EDI, yes. And
That
which
was
we
my
don't use
question.
that. We don't use that at this point. So how, again, how does that all fit into this picture?
Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
So we are non-EDI, and we order primarily through Baker and Taylor, although this year we have ordered some through Ingram as well. So we use Baker and Taylor's title source or Ingram's iPage. And after we have placed our order, we download a file of MARC records. And then we bring those in through acquisitions, which brings in the bib record, the order record, and however many items are attached to the bib, however many copies we ordered. And so then that encumbers our money. So we've committed that money. And then, of course, we wait until it is filled and shipped, and then we receive it, which disencumbers the money and moves it to the spent. So we set up, I know in Title Source, there are grids. And I think we've been using Title Source so long that we kind of set up our own grids on our own. And I have a profile for each one so if I'm ordering early chapter books, I have a specific profile to download my MARC file using the early chapter books, which I've purposely set to bring in like, not location, but some other data that's specific to that particular budget. And then in iPage, which we're very new to, I'm downloading the MARC records, but I couldn't find a way to do the kind of exact same thing in iPage. So I set up templates, I guess, in Koha. And so when I bring the MARC file in, at that time, I choose my Ingram template, which does basically the same thing as Baker and Taylor. So, I mean, that's to me, that's how it all gets in there. Is that what you're looking for, Wally?
Yeah, I mean, we do exactly the same thing, except that you use the acquisitions model module to include the budgets and such. Okay, because we don't do that yet. So everything you do manually so far is what we do. I would like to get the budgets and stuff in, but I would also like to do, I think Rhonda, y'all do the EDI component too. So I would love to see if there's what the benefit would be to taking what Barbara does and adding the next step to where it's more automated and yes, more automated.
And I would say whether you're doing it like we're doing it or EDI, getting it in acquisitions means your accuracy of your accounts, you know, how much your budget is, how much you've spent, how much you've committed, how much, like right now, we're at the end of our fiscal year. So I am constantly checking how much money is there because I don't want to leave anything. So it's like, I'm looking at what's canceled. I'm looking at what's actually coming. I see that it's got a tracking number, so I can expect it. And then I can look and see how much money is maybe not committed to anything. And so can I spend that on books or can I spend that on something else the library needs? And to me, that's the big value of the accounting part of it. And then the, I guess the other part, just knowing, you know, the rest of the staff can know it's been ordered. They can see what it's been ordered. And that's helpful to them at the service desk. So patrons are like, why don't you have this? And it's like, well, we ordered it, but it hasn't come yet, you know, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly, again, we do the exact same thing, except that our, we still use spreadsheets. You know, our director has a spreadsheet. So when stuff comes in, our people in the back office let him know what's here, what, you know, and it comes off in a spreadsheet, which in my opinion has a lot of potential for error.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
that's both time consuming and error prone.
Yes.
So I think you would benefit from having Koha do it for you. That's how I would sell it.
Thank you.
And the plus to adding EDI, yeah, Charlie's comment there, we'll get to that in a minute, is the receiving end of it becomes automagic, if you will. You know, it's like you don't have to go in and receive. Even now, the multiple receiving is still a little clunky. It's better than it was before. You couldn't do multiple receiving, but now you can receive multiple items. That speeds it up a little bit. But with EDI, basically the electronic invoice gets sent to an FTP server, then Koha goes to the FTP server and pulls that in, and everything that's on that invoice, it will go into Koha and mark it received without any human intervention. So that really helps that along. You know, if on the off chance that, you know, you've got a damaged item or you know, something just wasn't in the box that they said it was in, you can always go in and unreceive it. That doesn't happen very often. The damaged thing more so, but you know, the fact that they didn't actually send us the book, that rarely happens. Right now, I guess we haven't done this. I don't know if anybody, I don't see anybody from, I don't know, Chip, do you do the one click where you don't have to actually download the file from the vendor site and then upload it? Or I know Christie's library that does it.
Yeah, they do that. We don't do that.
Okay.
We're actually working on that, Rhonda, because Brodart's new to it. I think Ingram has it in place, but Jesse, I guess we're the first people trying to do it with Brodart, and still waiting on a few pieces, missing links. But I wanted to piggyback on kind of the EDI because we do that as well, and I set it up for our library. We were doing it just like Barbara and a lot of you. And the one thing, while it's very helpful, it seems like while you may benefit because of your spreadsheet, in the very least, it's just putting in a budget, for your library to help track what's received instead of using a spreadsheet. But the one thing I feel that I'm disconnected with with EDI is the invoice receiving. And I think I've mentioned this on a prior conversation. It's just because I'm not looking at the invoice like, oh, was this the price they gave me? And then cataloging and processing, that type of thing. Just because it's all automated, it just goes through. Whereas before I'd have the invoice in my hand and I'd check each book in independently and it would be a little bit more cohesive. Is it more convenient? Absolutely, with EDI, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, so we use the EDI aspect of it where we don't do the budget tracking. I'm trying to get us on track to do the budget tracking. And we are, because of recent changes with Baker and Taylor and because of other things as well, we've actually started setting up EDI for Ingram. So actually I was going to ask Rhonda in a later email because we're doing the M&M processing. So I wanted to pick your brain about it later. Okay. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
Okay. Right.
We like EDI, just putting that out there. It's very convenient. I agree.
Yep.
Thank you. This has all been very, very helpful.
Okay, great.
I'm going to actually have my director watch this SIG recording.
Okay. Yeah, it's it really helps with the flow, and like Barbara mentioned, it reduces errors, and it just kind of workflow speeds things up a little bit. Those are, to me, two of the biggest reasons to do it, because you're not entering things multiple times in different places and
if you're not spending time on a more lengthy spreadsheet, if you're not spending your time that way, then you could possibly be spending your time in collection development, reading, analysis, instead of just the entering titles and prices and whatnot in the spreadsheet. So you could redirect your time maybe to a better task.
I'm going to be totally honest here. We don't have a designated cataloger, so we depend heavily on Baker and Taylor to do a lot of our cataloging for us. So when they give us the MARC files and stuff like that. We do have our librarians with a cataloging standards that we have for our library specifically, that we do like a checklist of, but not like a designated cataloger for our library system.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then Charlie also shared the ReaderLink agrees to buy Baker and Taylor article. Just curious what people know about that.
I didn't know it was going to happen. It was a surprise, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's okay. So
well, hopefully it will help them with their stock level issues. But yeah, it's been really challenging getting even relatively new titles from them. That everything is on back order. They're just not getting things in the quantities that they need to fill orders promptly. I know they're working on it, but maybe this is part of that plan to.
I'm forgetting if it's because of Hachette. Am I saying it right? Is
Hachette.
Hachette?
That was part of it. There was a lot of inputs, but I've also noticed that like classic titles, you know, well, Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man or something like that. It's all, they don't have anything just in stock. You have to back order it. Whereas if you go to a place like Ingram, they usually have some back inventory in a warehouse somewhere. So it's just, yeah, the fact that they're not a retail scale entity kind of seems to be becoming an issue.
Yep. Okay, well, something for us all to watch. We'll see. Our main vendor is Ingram, but we have been doing some stuff with Baker and Taylor, and I had started the process of setting up EDI with them, so we'll see how that all goes.
And not that I want to take any business away from our vendors, but we do have an Amazon account just for certain things, especially as people are speaking. It's harder to get some new releases sometimes. And if you have high demand holds, sometimes we have to turn to Amazon. But I was just notified they have a library section now where you can download marks from Amazon, and you all may be aware, but I wanted to share it.
I did not know that. That's really great information.
Yeah, there's our library had a meeting with the Amazon rep the week I was on vacation. So I wish I could tell you more. Holly was at the meeting. But yeah, it was kind of like they don't do they don't do processing, and it didn't, Holly, correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't sound like they would pre-ship, like Street Smart, that's Ingram terminology, but they wouldn't ship stuff before the release date, like Ingram and Baker, or maybe Baker and Taylor do. But yeah, so.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what that's about. But yeah, we did have, the library had a meeting with an Amazon rep last week.
We haven't had that yet, but one thing that had never happened before, at least for me, was I did some Amazon pre-orders. And when they shipped, I got an email that says, like, lucky you, they've reduced in price. So you're going to save $18.90 something on these, 10 titles you ordered. And it was like, wow, I had never gotten an email like that before. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're giving a discount of 30 to 40% on our account. It's probably to get our business.
Okay. Yeah, so vendors are an important part of acquisitions, who we buy our stuff from. I was wondering if I've got the Koha demo server set up. Comments that I've heard through this discussion were there's ways to charge something to next year's budget. I was curious if, okay, yeah. I was just reading the chat. So Jason put in an order about library book purchasing in Amazon, put a link in there. So anyway, back to this. Would you be interested in going through that process and seeing how, like the logistics of how that actually happens? Just anybody curious? And then I was going to just pull up the acquisition site. Let me share my screen and we can I'll poke around and you can say, hey, I want to see this. Another thing that we will sometimes do. Let's see, screen 2, share. Okay. okay, so I'm sharing this screen. So where I am, again, another plug for koha-US. This is the demonstration server. If you go down, go to koha-US, and way at the bottom, there's a demonstration site. So I clicked on the staff, and then contact info, whatever, for access to get your login. So I have a login. And so this is the acquisitions home, and there's a fix in the next release that will solve this display problem right here. This is super, super ugly. But the way it should look is these first two columns, for whatever reason, got made mandatory, and that messes everything up. So these two columns will not show. And the first thing you'll see is the fund code, and the ones that have a drop down next to them, basically, those have sub funds underneath them. And I kind of talked a little bit about this at the KOHA conference. Subfunds are very fun because we have like city budgets that we map stuff to, but we want to see things more granularly, but we still want to know how we're tracking with the city. So I will set up a parent, if you will, level budget, and then underneath it, set up multiple sub budgets that kind of break things down the way we want to see them. And that helps with, we have different collection developers doing, maybe we've got an overall children's budget, but we've got one collection developer doing the easy readers and the board books, and then another one doing the what is that called? The juniors and the chapter books, and then somebody else is doing the YA books. And so we'll break those down underneath so that each collection developer can kind of see what their budget is doing at the time. I think in here, let me see. So we can see the budgets here. So we've got an active budget, and then under the inactive tab, we've got a bunch of inactive budgets. So I think, this is budget for year 2025. And then there's also one for 25-26. So if I wanted to, let's see, if I go to, is our vendors on this? No, I'm in the wrong spot. So if I go to vendors, and I'm going to pick on Ingram. So I've got this basket here, and let's say I want to add to this basket from an existing record. I'm going to say purple and see, oh, we do have something with purple in it. So that gives me this option here to add to order, and I can click on that. And one thing that you want to do is to make sure that you set the not for loan status to whatever, probably ordered, because that's what it is. Otherwise, it's going to show up as available in your catalog, which is really not fun when you have to go back and fix all those. And then make sure that you've got an item type, because that's how the hold rules and things like that get set. Then you can add the item. Now, this is where I actually wanted to get to. So we're gonna order one, because we set that. So this is a part that confused me in the beginning. See that little padlock? I can't change this to save my life. The only way you can change that is by completing this add item up here. And then you could add multiple items. That will determine what the quantity is. Took us a while to figure that one out. But to assign it to a fund, you can see what's in the current fund. I don't even know what kind of book this was. I'm going to assume it was, I don't know. We'll just call it a fantasy. You know, if I wanted to add it to that budget, I could do that. Or, oops, I could say show active or show inactive, and then it's going to show me all these it'll say inactive afterward. What we do with our names of the fund names is we'll actually put the year in there so that we know what year we're dealing with. So for this, there's 2 audiobook inactives. So there's probably 2 funds that have that title. So if you put, see here, like this, adult fiction 20. So this is the one I'm looking for, because it's almost the end of the year. This one doesn't pub until, our year end is September 30th. So this particular thing is not going to pub until mid-October, we'll call it. But I want to order it now because it's real popular and everybody's going to put in purchase suggestions if they don't see it in the catalog, all that good stuff, the routine. So I can select inactive here, the fiction thing, and we should give it some money. $25, let's say. And then we can save that. And then if we go, Calling All Creeps. Okay, that was a kid's book. All right. Anyway, I am going to close this basket. And then I'm going to go back to the budgets and go to inactive budgets. And it should be this one. Oh, so here it is. There are just 2 funds in that one, the adult fiction and borrow library fund. So you can see that we've ordered $97 on this fund already. I guess from here, I can't see what's actually ordered. Is that right? I would need to
go to acquisitions home.
Okay.
And it should be in an inactive tab there. And then I think you can actually see the amount and click on the amount, and then that shows you the titles.
Okay, so go to budgets.
Acquisitions home, and then there's that green inactive tab right there.
Green.
Like scroll down a little.
Oh, show inactive budgets.
There it is. Yeah, show inactive budgets.
Got it. Yes. Okay. So, and then we want to go to the 25-26 because that was, and then if I click on this fund, no, if I click on this
click on the
order,
amount.
yeah. And then I can see calling all creeps is in here with our $25. So we've actually charged that to next year's fund. So we did that with one item. You could, pull in a basket or, a list from one of your vendors and do that for the entire basket. Or you could go in, if you had an entire basket, but you only wanted 3 of them to be that way, you could go in and change those 3 specifically. But that is how you kind of order off of next year's budget so that you can keep a more accurate account of what's going on in this year's budget.
So Rhonda, it obviously encumbers, even though the budget is inactive. I didn't realize, is that a new feature or it's always been that way?
It's always been that way. It will encumber it. But if you've got EDI, You don't want to have two active budgets if you have EDI, because it will, if you receive something, it will always go to the newest budget. So even if, you know, you're still in year one and you receive something and you've got two active budgets going, it will charge it to year two, like it will do spent on year two, just because of the way the code is written.
And that's the same if you're non-EDI.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So when I start to order the things for next year, I activate my fund and then I order and I bring in my records, and then I try to make sure to inactivate my fund so that if somebody else is ordering for the current year, it doesn't end up going on the future year, because it's a pain to have to move them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm confused now because the budget is inactive, but you're still encumbering on the budget. But now you're saying
if you make two active, if you make two budgets active, that's when you run into trouble.
So why would you need to make the other budget active though? If it's, you could still, you know, order on it.
Yeah. Some people just, it just works better for their brains, you know, if they think about it or whatever. And it is easier. You don't have to click that little show inactive. Because, you know, if you've been on koha for 10 years, when you click that show inactive budget, you are going to see 10 years worth of funds. But usually the more recent ones will float to the top. So, you know, if you just have two active ones and you don't click that show inactive, then you're just dealing with 2 years worth of funds. It kind of simplifies things that way a little bit. But I will always just do the show inactive funds, and then just scroll through and find the one that I need. Most of the time the newer ones get floated to the top. The weird thing is it's never in the same order. When you can add one thing and it's like, oh, it's right here. And then you add the next thing and it's like, oh, it's like 3 scrolls down from there. It doesn't display them in the same order. So there's a ticket out there to fix that.
I was going to say that is frustrating for us, and I don't know if there's a bug out there, but it would be nice if it's sorted logically.
Yeah. So the ticket the bug that I'm talking about would actually, you know, if you go into other areas, it kind of groups by budget. You know, it'll be like, here's this budget and all the funds underneath it, and here's this budget and all the funds underneath it. So it would do that kind of display for that, because it is kind of annoying the way it is right now.
Rhonda, I have a quick question. So like where you had the adult AV in the number on the first one, if you named it adult AV 26, would that help identify it visually quicker than having, like you said, you would potentially in 10 years have 10 adult AVs, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you just added maybe just the last 2 digits of the year, that might help it some?
The best way to do it, because when you roll from one year to the next, the fund codes have to match. So what actually gets displayed is this fund name, and putting the 26 after the fund name is the way to go, because then your fund codes are all the same and you can just roll from, you know, this year into next year. And what that does is, as long as your baskets are all closed, learned that the hard way, it will, when you close out one and roll it to the next budget, it will take everything that's ordered in this budget and move it to next year's ordered column, as long as it finds a matching fund code in the new budget. So what we do is put the 26 after the fund name. And that works great because that's what actually displays when you do that drop down of looking for the fund. But yeah, good point, Wally. Oh, somehow we blew past our end of meeting time. I was so excited about budgets. Anyway.
I'll send you an email if you want. I'm still gonna send you an email.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, so I hope, let me stop sharing this. I hope that people have found this information useful, and if you run in, okay, so next, oh, there we go. Next meeting will be October 21, Tuesday. And by then we should all be on our new 2505 and have burning questions about that or happiness. I've heard that the loading of the purchase suggestion page is supposed to really speed up with this release. So my staff is like, yay, because it is so slow right now. So if, ooh. Okay. We have the year and the fund name column. Yes, yes, Julie does the same thing that we do. Okay, so like I said, next meeting, October 21 and same time. And if you run, have questions, you've got the new release, we can go over that and talk about that. And we will see you next month. Have a great month, everyone.